professional debut March 15th in Florida, Orlando, right? And coming off that bronze, show the bronze, man. Coming right off that bronze Olympic medal winning performance in 24 games, man. How excited are you? What do you want to show people in your first fight out?
Definitely excited. And to be debuting in my hometown of Orlando, Florida, I feel like it could be any other way to make your splash on the professional scene. So I just want to show the fans that I can adjust to the professional game, just how I adjusted to the international scene at the Olympics. And, I just want to put on the show for my city.
How competitive were the offers for you coming out of the Olympics? Was top rank, and I imagine Matchroom wasn't the only promoter interested.
For sure, it was definitely a lot of promoters that did come my way, but it stuck out with Matchroom is, me and Eddie met a couple of times and showed his interest, and definitely we towards the end of getting me signed, we talked pretty much every day with his team. And, I feel like we had the plan, and they got me to sign.
Eddie's been talking lately about kind of just matching his prospects tough and finding out sooner rather than later if they really got it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'm not sure what I feel of that, but I feel that he wants to test the fighters. But for me right now, me and my team, we have the plan of how we want to move. We're not in a rush to get anywhere. Right now, I'm a prospect, so I'm going to be treated as such, even though I came out of the Olympics, and I feel like I can fight whoever, but it's a time and a place to do that.
Omari, Kevin Garcia with Fight Hype. So I just wanted to ask you're a young guy, obviously, growing up in the social media age. Top Rank has a lot of history. Bob Arum, historic promoter. Does it mean something to you to have a promoter who's active, who's present, who's talking that talk online, who's building up his fighters? What does that mean to you?
I definitely feel that means a lot, because to have somebody behind you and pushing your name and, like you say, talking your talk, it definitely means a lot, because they have to promote you and put your name out there so that the fans and the people can know who you are.
For sure. I mean, obviously, debut coming. I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, but ideally, what's your 2025 look like?
My 2025 looks like I'm going to be busy. That's the most important part right now, especially at the beginning stage. I want to fight at least 5, maybe 6 times in a year. So after my debut, I want to keep running, stay active, stay busy.
Sounds like prospect of the year plans to me.
Definitely.
No doubt. Thank you, Mark.
Omari, are there any Olympic rivalries that maybe could manifest themselves here in the pros?
I definitely feel it's a few. I have history with somebody that's fighting on this card, Nishant Dev. Me and him fought in the Olympics. It was a tough fight, one of my toughest fights, but I pulled it out. And then you also have Marco Verde. I'm not sure what he's doing. I haven't heard any noise about him just yet, but I'm sure he'll be on the scene as well.
Is there any fights that you kind of maybe want to get back from the amateurs that now that these guys maybe get older and get into pros, maybe some of the the medal games or something like that?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a lot of guys. I have a list for sure, but right now I just want to get my feet wet in the game, and then after that it's time to work.
What could you tell us about that Marco Verde stuff? Because fighters from Mexico, they never really go far in the amateur. They don't really fight in the amateurs.
Yeah.
He won a medal. I'm hearing he might be with Reynoso.
Okay.
And so he's getting a lot of buzz coming out of there. What's your experiences with him? And again, how big could that fight be down the line in the pros?
That could be definitely could be a potential great fight in the future in the professional game. He keeps winning, I keep winning, and we meet up a few years down the line, maybe like a Mayweather-Pacquiao kind of situation. We'll just see. But I know I'm just going to keep winning and doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'll meet whoever, I'm sure.
Is he pretty good?
Yeah, oh yeah. I like him. Yeah, we talked after the Olympics a little bit before the medal ceremony. He told me he was going pro, and I just said we'll meet down the line.
Can you talk a little bit about your partner that you were showing? What did it feel like to win that?
It felt great to win that, the bronze medal at the 2024 Olympic Games. man, it just showed what I've been through since the age of 8 years old. I'm 22 now, so 14 years in boxing, and it was always a goal and a dream to go to the Olympics and stand on that podium.
Omari, were you?
Coming out the Olympics, signing with Matchroom, that's very life-changing. Are you doing anything in particular to kind of keep you grounded? Because it's a major deal, so it's kind of a big deal. So anything around you saying you kind of stay grounded?
Yeah, so I have a great question. I have a great team behind me and with me. My father, my coach, my mentors, my manager. So a lot of people in my circle, and just always keeping God first and staying prayed up.
I wanted to ask you, how fast are they going to move you? Like, how often will you fight over the course of the first year or two?
I'll be fighting probably, I'll say 5-6 times this year. That's what how many times I want to fight. But for opponents, I don't see no rush in anything. I'm going to take my time, and when it's my time, I'll be able to fight whoever's in front of me.
Mark, why did you choose Matchroom over other promotions?
I felt like I chose Matchroom because like I said, I want to stay busy and active, and Matchroom is putting on so many shows. Me and Eddie met right after my last fight in the Olympics, so he showed his interest from the beginning, and we finally got the deal done. You guys
Yeah, so Omari, you're fighting in your hometown of Orlando. Talk about how surreal that feels for you.
Man, it's so surreal for sure to have my first fight in Orlando, my hometown. I've traveled so many years at the 2024, before the 2024 Olympic Games, to like 13 different countries in the span of 3 years. So I never really fought in the States. So after all of that, to be able to come home and put on for my city, it couldn't mean anything more.
Obviously, winning the medals, I'm sure, is one of your favorite memories of the Olympics. But were you on the boat? Any other like fun memories that you remember of being over there?
Definitely, yeah. I took pictures with LeBron James, Anthony Edwards. I met the whole NBA team, Simone Biles. I mean, all the stars. I'm sure you can name. I met them all.
Were you able to go to to any other events besides yours, obviously?
Yeah, no, I wasn't able to go to any other events, sadly, because I was towards the end of the tournament. So by the time the tournament and the Olympics was over, it was time to go home with the medal.
How fast would you like to move towards a world title?
I don't see any rush moving fast towards a world title. I want to take my time in the professional game. I've been an amateur for 14 years, and this will only be my first year stepping into the pro game, so I don't see no rush.
What would you say the biggest difference between amateur and pros are for you?
Right now, I just feel maybe the professional game, I just have to sit down on my punches a little more and take my time. Amateurs, it's a sprint and not a marathon. Yep. So my first fight out, it'll be a 6-rounder. So I'm able to go to work a little bit more.
I saw you with Clarissa Shields in Vegas. Who do you count among the Olympians as your mentors, and how important is it to have those voices in your ear?
Yeah, Clarissa Shields, she definitely showed a lot of love at the Olympics, talking with me, texting me, and she actually wrote a foreword in my new book, The Journey of an Olympian. So she definitely been around.
Eddie, what was it that made you want to sign Omari? Not just sign him coming out of the Olympics, but build him in a debut in his hometown and kind of immediately put those resources.
I think that's always a natural move. Like in the UK, when there's a big star or an Olympian that medals, you always take him to the hometown. I mean, March 28th, we've got Pat Brown, who didn't medal, but is a very good Olympian GB fighter. He's debuting in his hometown. It's not rocket science. It's just something you should always do, which is build the fighter in their hometown as you build him into a state star and then a national star in America. So, I was in Paris and I watched him, and I just, straight away, I watched his first fight on TV, and I was like, wow, this kicking serious fight. And then I saw him, and I slid into his DMs, and then next thing we're having a cup of coffee with him and his mum and dad in Paris, who are great people as well. And he just impressed me so much as an individual. Reminds me a lot of Anthony Joshua in his approach, and his mindset and the ability to want to learn.
and educate himself about the game. And I made the classic thing that I always say, which is, hey, go and talk to everybody, and then we'll talk. And then he did, and it took a long time. Like, he went out and he really took his time. When he flirted with me back, he was a real tease. We keep turning up, we'd have a meeting, and every time I was around him, I was like, this kid's got something about him. Like, he's a star. His fighting ability is unquestioned, but as a role model, as an ambassador for sport, the way he looks, the way he carries himself, I really believe there's no one coming through like him at the moment. And Caribe Royale, it's been a good spot for us. Ammo will fight there in a good fight, but it allowed us to take him there. And when was the last time there's been a major fight or a star from Orlando? I mean, was it Tarver probably back then? I mean, it's very unusual.
Derek Gaynor.
Yeah. So we think we've got a great opportunity, and we think we've got America's next superstar in Omari.
Go ahead.
Just because you mentioned the fighting ability, like you mentioned what stuck out to him charisma-wise, but what was it about how he fights or his talent that makes you think he could go really far?
Skill set, like composure. You do have to adapt. Like, if you look at Andy Cruz, for example, he was like one of the greatest amateurs of all time. I think he's fighting very differently in the pros. I mean, he just won a stoppage last time. He's got a couple of stoppages. I think he's punching harder than anticipated. Omari's a big guy. I mean, he's talking about, maybe even looking at 147 pounds. I think 154 might be more realistic, but
he's almost as tall as you.
Yeah, I know, but we'll gauge that over time. There's no rush on that. We'll start around 150, 151, 152, and then see what weight class he's going to be in. Already, his opponent will be announced probably next week. He's a guy who I think he's had 20 fights, 15 wins, something like that. Going into a debut is really impressive. And I think a lot of these guys, you don't want to box them beneath their level. They've fought outstanding fighters, for a long time. And the last thing you want to do is fight like some scrappy guy who's running off the back foot. Look at Nishan, it's a good example. He knows he's in a decent fight tomorrow. It's his debut. Normally you just give them, exactly, same kind of thing. They're really good fighters, seasoned pros. So when you make an investment in a fighter, you need to know you're getting 110% from the individual. And I know he ain't out partying, he ain't out drinking, he's working on his craft day in, day out. And that's important when you're putting your money up.
Omari, you just heard him say that he reminds you of Anthony Joshua. Did he say that when he was flirting with you in the DM? And if this is the first time, what do you think of him saying that in comparison?
I definitely see what Eddie could be talking about there, how Anthony Joshua carries himself, and I feel like he's the people's champ. Everybody in the UK loves him. Probably get a lot of people just coming up to him, taking pictures, and that's the same way with me in my hometown. Everywhere I go, it's like people love me. So that's why my fight for this fight in Orlando is called The Hero's Return, because after I traveled so many years around the world, I want to come back and put on for my city.
Omari, how many people are hitting you up for tickets since it's in your hometown?
Yeah, they ready right now. Eddie just gave me the word and said tickets will be available soon, so my DMs is flooded, calls about when this ticket's going to be released. So
that's really important as well. Like, I said to him, when you come out, don't forget that's going to be broadcast around the world. You need the fans to go, wow, look at this kid, like he is a hero. I mean, the hero returns to strap, and that's what it's got to be. You've got to build. It's amazing how few fighters have been built in their hometown before they grow their profile, and that's what, like, if you could bring big fights to Orlando and Florida, it's not something that you see that much.
Eddie, so I asked Omari a little while ago, he had choices. He was courted, like you said, by a lot of promotional companies, Top Rank being somebody who was heavily after him. Bob Arum, all this history. Why Eddie Hearn? And I asked him, I said, is it important to you to have a promoter who is on social media, who's, building your perception, who's out there, face first? And he said, yeah. And I just wanted to ask you, how important is that for you? Like, how in tune, obviously you're in tune, but when you think about it and you see other promoters, are you ever shocked, like, hey, why are more promoters out online and talking on the internet?
It's probably an age thing as well. Like, if you look at it, who are the promoters? So Bobby's 93, right? He's a legend. I mean, he knows more about boxing than I might ever know. Yeah, but he's not going to be out there standing in front of you guys for 3 or 4 hours, building, the online plan, going out, Al Heyman, that's not his thing, right? Oscar, he's done everything. He's a legend of the sport. He's a pound for pound great. So, it's different. This is my job. But I said to Omari, we sat down. I said, listen, I'll be honest with you. I said, you've got 3 choices. It's us, PBC, or Top Rank. I said, and I think, in the current environment, I think it's between us and Top Rank. And if you go with Top Rank, I said this, didn't I? I said, it's not a bad decision. So if you do that, I think they're going to do a good job for you. I said, but I'm just telling you, we're hands-on. We've got a global schedule. We've got solid TV contracts, and we ain't going anywhere. And I've got enough engine to tell you I'm going to be around for your whole career. And that's activity is very, very important for these young fighters, because I want him to fight a minimum of 6 times, maybe 8 times in a year. And just go around, fight all around the world. He's done that as an amateur, but all we're doing now, we're making this investment to build him into a world champion and a superstar of the sport. And I said to him, I said, all this money that you're getting and this big contract you're getting, stuff like that, don't forget, I'm putting the money up. And we're not making a penny out of you until you become a world champion and a star. So that's our investment to you. And he's built the opportunity to get that kind of deal because of his amateur pedigree and because of the Olympics. But fighters also have to understand, we're making the investment. It's not just every time he fights, it's bringing the opponent over, bringing all their teams over. No one's going to want to fight him. He's putting the team in place to build his profile, and it's an expensive operation. So you've got to spend your money wisely, and I believe we've spent our money perfectly on this young man. He's got a good deal, but more importantly, he's got a straightforward path that the only thing will stop him is work ethic, which is not in question at all, and ability. And he's got that in bundles.